Hey there, Soul Shines. It's Michelle here, and I'm inviting you to wake up and live. And today I want to talk about the thing that took off so much pressure from my body. I physically felt so much relief and pressure from this idea. I wrote a blog post about the sister energy of this. So I was looking at the energy of not good enough. I was feeling very frustrated because it was like, didn't matter what I was doing, it wasn't good enough. And I know that so many of us feel that way. And my blog post was about feeling like a failure. Same concept being used. So what lifted all that pressure off of me was embracing it. Like, yeah, I am not good enough and I will never be good enough. And here's why. When I believe that I'm not good enough, it's because I'm not living up to somebody's expectation. A lot of times it was either some idea that I came up with based on what I was seeing. Like if I saw my mom behave a certain way, then my little child brain decided that was the way to behave. And if it didn't work with my nature, because my mom, her approach to life was very different than mine. Her love language is different mine. The way, I'm like a NFP, so I'm an intuitive feeler, or my dominant, and she is a sensor. So like she's much more tangible in her approach to the world, and that just like so many different things made it very, very a very different person. So no matter how much I tried, I never could show up in the world in the way that my little self saw my mom show up. And it didn't matter if my mom was actually showing up in a good way or a bad way. It was just that little me saw how she responded to life and said that's how I am supposed to be. Or I saw her doing something and I was like, I never want to be that way. And so then I created this other ideal way of being, which may or may not be accurate. And sometimes it's the way that church interprets scripture. Let me see if I can move my finger without blocking said camera. Where is the camera? Okay, I think I know where the camera is. Sorry, hands getting tired. Sometimes, like the different churches, like if you have been to different churches, or at least, listen to people from different churches, there's they take the same verses and interpret them different ways. So how the interpretations given to you, or how you interpreted scriptures can even change, so that we don't actually even know really what is expected of us from God unless we take time to ask. And I say, let's follow what makes us feel light, the thing that makes me feel the most light. And when I look at what am I feeling like I'm not good enough at, and a lot of times when I really stop and look at it, I'm like, yeah, that's the expectation of so-and-so. That's the expectation taught to me by this place, which isn't even accurate. Like I can start evaluating and really looking at, is what I'm expecting of myself based on what I think or know that other people are expecting of me, are those actually true? I think I can check that. I'm like, I feel like I'm just right on top of the camera. So that's part of the thing, is like recognizing that these man-made expectations are based on their beliefs, their ideas that may or may not be based in truth. And as long as I'm trying to live up to their expectations, I will never be good enough. And by acknowledging that, along with looking at what really is expected of me, I find out that, you know what, I will never be good enough for that. But I am 100% good enough. I'm good enough to live my life the way that is perfect for me. I am good enough to, I'm good enough to be my kid's mom. I'm good enough to live in this body. I'm good enough to, make this YouTube video, and even if it doesn't meet somebody else's expectations, as long as I feel amazing at the end of it, it's good enough. And I think that's something that we all need to do as people. We need to check out, what are the expectations? And just embrace, I will never be good enough to meet that expectation, because that expectation doesn't even align with me and my truth. Like, I don't even want to meet some of these expectations that I beat myself up for not meeting. So silly. And then, this is the most important thing. Ask yourself, what are you good enough for? Where are you good enough? Oh my gosh. I have my knitting with me because I'm waiting for somebody. I'm a freaking dang good knitter. I am so good enough at knitting. And I am an excellent crocheter. I've been doing it for 40 years. I better be good. And I'm good enough at that. I am really good at playing the piano. And I'm really good at writing. And I'm really good at loving all my kids. And I'm really good at singing. And I used to be really good at dancing. And I will get there again when my knee is recovering. I've found some great things recently. So when I stop and ask, what am I good at and what am I good enough at, the answers start just flowing in. And so that's what I invite you guys to do. I invite you guys to look at, when you're saying I'm not good enough, stop and ask yourself, what is really being expected of you? Who is really expecting that of you? If those are expectations you are even aligned with your truth, and just claim, yep, I will never be good enough for that, and these are the things I am good at, and start asking, what am I good enough at? What am I good enough for? Who am I good enough for? And you will be surprised at when you start asking, who am I good enough for, and what am I good enough for, and what am I good enough at, and how am I enough? And you start asking all of those questions after you recognize that you're trying to live up to expectations that don't even make sense. So of course you're never going to be good enough for them, and that's okay. And so that's kind of, when I did that for myself Sunday morning, and I was feeling so heavy and so frustrated. I was feeling like I wasn't good enough. And I embraced that, and I owned it, and I recognized it, and I started asking what I am good enough for. The pressure, literally, I felt it lifting off of my shoulders. And I felt a lot of the depression that I had been dealing with that morning just dissipate. And it was so amazing. And it doesn't mean that I won't have a moment again where good enough doesn't come up again, or feeling like a failure doesn't come up again, or all these things, but I have some things to counteract it. I get to say, you know what? You're right, because those expectations don't even make sense, and I don't even want to be good enough for those. And what a difference it's made for me. And I hope that it makes a difference for you. I love you guys so much, and I want all of you guys to just experience bliss as a way of being, to live in your light and be who you are, and to let go of all of the things that aren't even aligned with you, all of the expectations that aren't aligned with you, everything that isn't you. I want you to let go of it so you can be you and have an amazing life and love your life and live amazing and all that stuff. And that's where I come from as I approach my YouTube channel, is what can I give to you that can help you be more you? And I hope that you get that today. Remember to let your light shine big, bright, live, and beautiful. Be the incredible you that you're designed to be. And I will see you next week.